The episode opens with the chaotic sounds of an invading army. 15,000 Hightower soldiers march heavily into the market town of Tumbleton, completely overwhelming the small folk. Banners are hoisted, livestock scatters, and doors are violently kicked open as soldiers forcibly take over the town's houses. A distressed local woman begs a guard, crying out that her home is already too crowded, but the soldier coldly shoves his way inside, telling her to count her blessings, or go complain to Lord Ormund Hightower himself. Inside the solar of Tumbleton's ancestral castle, the tension turns political. Lord and Lady Footley stand trembling before Lord Ormund. Lord Footley bravely speaks up, protesting that Ormund's men have taken over their private bedchamber while they are forced to sleep in the stables. Ormund doesn't care. He coldly reminds them that they bent the knee to Rhaenyra Targaryen, and bluntly states that the wage of treason is death. When the Footleys claim they only swore to her because she is the queen, Ormund sneers, asking if she is a queen or just a bitch with a dragon. Standing right beside Ormund is young Prince Daeron, who watches silently as Ormund tells him that when dealing with those beneath you, you must always be fair, but firm. Suddenly, a messenger enters with a raven from Storm's End. Lord Borros Baratheon has sent yet another list of excuses as to why his knights haven't marched, despite sealing a marriage pact with Prince Aemond. A frustrated Ormund calls Borros a lackwit and orders a reply to be sent back, but this time, using drawings instead of letters so the illiterate lord can actually understand it. Sir Roger Roxton then steps forward with a grim warning. If Aemond and Vhagar do not join their host soon, their defenses will absolutely fail. Ormund looks at a worried Daeron and reassures him that his brother will join them soon. The scene shifts to the Red Keep in King's Landing, where Queen Rhaenyra is pacing around the painted table. She questions her council why Ormund Hightower would waste time seizing an undefended market town like Tumbleton. She quickly realizes it's a brilliant trap. Ormund wants her to fly down and rain dragonfire on a town that raised her own banner. If she does, the entire realm will brand her a tyrant. Maegor the Cruel returned and rise up against her. Grand Maester Orwyle steps forward with a solution. He notes that Prince Daemon's massive river host is currently marching toward King's Landing, and Tumbleton is not much further. If they divert those men, they can root out the Hightowers house by house. Rhaenyra approves the plan. She turns to Orwyle and tells him that as long as he remains useful, he can keep his chain as Grand Maester. But Lady Mysaria must be kept informed of every single raven entering or leaving the rookery. With resources running dangerously low, Rhaenyra decides they need a scapegoat. She orders an investigation into Sir Torhan Manderly to name him the new Master of Coin. She reasons that when the small folk inevitably discover the crown has no gold or food, they can blame the Manderly Lord instead of her. Seeking more insight into her enemy, Rhaenyra visits a captive Alicent Hightower. Rhaenyra admits she has never met Ormund and asks what he is like. Alicent explains that her cousin sees himself as a scholar who collects tapestries, though her brother Gwaine always thought him cruel. She reveals that sending Daeron away to Aldtown as a baby was her truest act of motherhood, wanting to protect at least one of her sons from the poison of court. Before Rhaenyra leaves, Alicent drops a crucial tactical detail. Ormund has a severe, crippling sensitivity to strong odors. Down at the bustling mud docks, a messenger attempts to summon Lord Corlys Velaryon to the small council. Corlys fiercely refuses, snapping that he is the queen's hand, not her mouth, and that the talking should be left to those who relish it. He boards his flagship to personally hunt down the Triarchy raiders, sending his son Aelin of Hull to sit in his place. Aelin confesses to Rhaenyra that he is a man of the sea and feels entirely out of place in court. But Rhaenyra comforts him, noting that fathers have a maddening capacity to both inspire and incense us. As they walk, they hear rats scurrying in the walls. Rhaenyra laments that the pests are incessant because Aegon executed all the rat catchers. Aelin pragmatically answers that on board ships they simply kept cats. The story moves deep into the Whispering Woods near Rook's Rest, where a local peasant is capitalizing on the tragedy of war, loudly charging refugees a copper penny just to touch a fallen dragon and a half-groat to sit in the saddle. Hidden under a dirty cloak, a severely burned King Aegon pushes through the crowd alongside Larys Strong. Aegon looks into the clearing and breaks down in tears at the sight of the charred, unmoving body of his dragon, Sunfire. Aegon drops to his knees in the dirt, whispering desperately in High Valyria, begging his dragon to wake up and rise. Larys tightly grips Aegon's shoulder, dragging him back into the shadows. Larys whispers harshly that the dragon is dead, the danger is immense, and Aegon must choose right now whether to sit in the woods and rot with the beast, or stand up and live. Larys leads Aegon to an overcrowded, squalid camp run by the remnants of Criston Cole's garrison. To protect the king's identity, Larys tells the ruthless camp commander, Janos, that they are simple refugees from Sharp Point fleeing after Prince Aemond burned it to the ground. Janos spits on the ground, cursing riverfolk, but says they can stay if they work. He points at Aegon, whom Larys introduces as Gregor, and orders him to assist the camp's muckraker Tumbleton. Janos declares that Aegon's new job is cleaning the overflowing latrines, separating urine for tanners and feces for farmers. Aegon's royal pride flares, and he fiercely refuses to touch the filth. Larys quickly steps between them, squeezing Aegon's arm and quietly ordering him to swallow his pride and do what they say for now. Meanwhile, the cloaked figures of Criston Cole and Sir Gawain Hightower ride into the eerie, silent courtyard of Harrenhal. The massive castle is a ghost town, and its previous castellans lie rotting in the dirt. Suddenly, Alys Rivers steps out from the shadows of the weirwood tree. When Gawain demands to see whoever is in charge, Alys laughs softly, telling him they have all been slain. Criston demands to know where Prince Aemond is, and Alys smiles cruelly, dropping a bombshell. The moment Aemond learned Rhaenyra had captured King's Landing, he took Vhagar and fled. Gawain panics, realizing the capital is lost. Aegon is presumed dead, and their families are prisoners. He declares the game over and the war lost. But Criston Cole draws his sword. He angrily tells Gawain that highborn lords view war as a game where they can just go home to a feather bed when they lose. Criston, a steward's son with nothing left, vows that they will never surrender. He rallies the remaining men to fight like a scorpion attacking an ox, striking from the darkness as wraiths, completely free from the shadow of dragons. The script returns to Tumbleton, where tensions inside the crowded town boil over. In a local smithy, two rowdy Hightower soldiers are drinking. When one of the soldiers attempts to assault a local woman named Kat, her brother steps in, screaming for the soldier to take his hands off her. A brutal, chaotic brawl breaks out as the blacksmith family desperately fights back against the occupying forces. Back in the Red Keep, Sir Hugh Hammer requests an urgent audience with Rhaenyra. He has heard that Sir Ulf is being sent to Tumbleton, but he begs the Queen to let him take the watch on Vermithor instead. He reveals that his wife, Kat, is currently trapped in Tumbleton, giving him a massive personal stake in the town's safety. Rhaenyra agrees, telling Hugh and Ulf to take turns keeping watch on the town and on each other, granting Hugh the first post. Outside the castle gates, a crowd of angry smallfolk gathers around a newly painted graffiti wall that reads, Queen of Bastards. Ulf the White walks past the unrest and enters a local tavern. The patrons immediately cheer, calling him a dragon lord and a god among men. Feeling the immense high of his new royal status, Ulf proudly orders a round of drinks for everyone in the tavern. The injured blacksmith family confronts Lord Ormund Hightower at Tumbleton, accusing a soldier of assaulting Kat. Ormund orders the soldier gelded and his arm broken to maintain order. In King's Landing, Rhaenyra and Grand Maester Orwyle discuss the faith's defiance, with Orwyle warning that removing the High Septon would incite widespread rebellion. In the Vale, Prince Daemon secures gold from Lady Jane Arryn, but is thrown off course when Caraxes flies toward a massive cavern. There, Daemon discovers Rhaena Targaryen alongside the wild dragon Sheepstealer. Rhaena refuses to return, declaring the beast is hers, and choosing exile over a life without a dragon, begging her father to tell the realm she was lost at sea. Rhaena flees into the fog as Sheepstealer screeches and takes flight. Back at Tumbleton, a raven from Harrenhal reveals that Prince Aemond and Vhagar will not be joining the host. An enraged Ormond smashes his war table, calling Aemond a coward, and tells Prince Daeron they must alter their entire scheme. In King's Landing, Sir Ulf White clumsily petitions Rhaenyra for favors for his old tavern buddies. Rhaenyra coldly refuses, reminding him he belongs to the crown, and bans him from taverns. Before leaving, Ulf mentions the city is painting Queen of Bastards on the walls, prompting Rhaenyra to order the City Watch to scrub the streets and arrest the culprits. At Criston Cole's squalid refugee camp, a burned King Aegon groans in pain. Larys Strong reveals that Rhaenyra declared Aegon dead, slain by Aemond. Aegon vows furious vengeance, but when he complains about the camp running out of food, a brutal guard named Janos puts a blade to his throat. Aegon is forced to swallow his pride, kneel, and call the guard my lord to survive. Back in the Red Keep's council room, the new master of coin, Sir Torhin Manderly, discusses financial inquisitions until Daemon storms in with 10,000 golden dragons from the Vale and dumps a severed head on the table, claiming it belonged to Sheepstealer's rider. Manderly argues the gold should pay the soldiers to prevent bedlam and suggests a new tax, prompting an annoyed Rhaenyra to clear the room. Alone with Daemon, Rhaenyra demands answers, but Daemon admits the beast fled riderless into the wilderness, and Rhaenyra orders the gold to go to the starving smallfolk instead. As Daemon leaves, Mysaria asks whose head it actually is, while Rhaenyra later visits a grieving Alicent, telling her she has arranged to safely deliver King Viserys' remains to Oldtown. The scene shifts to a terrifying night in King's Landing, as gold cloaks enforce a strict curfew under the shadow of a bellowing dragon, violently dragging smallfolk into the mud to scrub the Queen of Bastards graffiti from the walls. The episode reaches its climax back in Tumbleton, where young Prince Daeron stands in a clearing gently petting his dragon, Tessarion. Lord Ormund interrupts, warning the boy against affection for the beast and claiming the Hightowers are superior men who must now lift Daeron up as king since his brothers are lost to madness. Daeron looks horrified, questioning Ormund's earlier brutal judgment and asking if mercy isn't a kingly virtue, but Ormund scoffs and pressures the boy not to disappoint him. In the final haunting sequence, Cat's brave brother is dragged into the clearing in chains, begging for his life. Daeron watches in silent agony as Ormund gives the nod, and Tessarion releases a torrent of blinding dragonfire that consumes the screaming blacksmith as Ormund coldly whispers that their war truly begins.